I think it is extremely important that, the institution like TRT is making a project that is preparing projects to be presented and presenting them, but also wants to identify the project for international market. By giving away the co-production award, TRT wants to put the mark on the project that should go further and find another partners, go to to other parts of the world and find partners. And I think it is extremely important to do that in a very early stage, not just the early stage of development, but it is, we all want festival distribution, we all want big festival premieres, but it's more likely to get them if we collaborate very early on with the, other co-producers. We meet sales agents, we meet people who are going to read our scripts, our projects, and understand what kind of films we want to make. I think that the variety of the project has been amazing, and the way that it has been beautiful to see how different directors are approaching different subjects. So it has been very versified. The selection has been very versified. I personally, there are projects that I would say are something that thrills me, but I don't think it's about. It is not only about me. It is not about my personal taste, but it is what you expect that it is going to work. And I really enjoyed both. The Limbless Tree and The Emperor of the Rabbit, and both projects have a very complex structures. They are telling the story on many different levels, and they are playing the game of something that you expect from a Turkish film, and on the other side something completely unexpected from Turkey. So I like that. I like to be surprised. I work for Sarajevo Film Festival. I'm a producer from Bosnia, and for the last 20 years I run a co-production market and a work in progress in Sarajevo. So I've been reading and watching Turkish films for the last 15 years. So I'm not your typical audience. So, and it is not the expectation only from Turkish cinema, but you put a certain, you have a feeling that certain cinema has a certain atmosphere, has certain characters, and you can always say that, Turkish cinema is either you see it in a distance area, somewhere in the distance in Anatolia, or in the mountains and with a harsh nature and a beautiful surrounding. And on the other hand, it's very often a family story. That's how I see it. And it doesn't have to be something else. But I like when I see that there is that, and there is also a new take on that, new way of seeing that. Actually, one of my favorite Turkish films, if you say that, are very often set in a distant area. But it's really interesting to see the new way of dealing with a similar subject and dealing with what is important to us. If the family is what is important in Turkey, directors should be dealing with the family. But then you want to see the different approach of a director, different approach of a writer to a similar subject. What it means, when you go to look for a Turkish film and when you go to see a Bosnian film, you're looking for different things, but you also look for the things that you can relate to. So it is extremely interesting when you are watching a film and it comes from a different culture, but you see a character or a place or, an animal that is the same like you remember, So we do connect our films and we learn about the things that are different between us, but we also learn about things that are similar, and, cinema has this amazing opportunity to make you travel in a way. And I'm not saying that it should be like a National Geographic and that you should learn about certain country just by watching a film. It's much more subconscious. It's much deeper, as a matter of fact, because you have a chance to even meet people. It's extremely complicated when you are trying to make something that is authentic to your own culture, but to make it travel. It's one of the most complicated arts of filmmaking, because it has to be authentic. It has to be close to you and and close to your own audience, your own people, and on the other hand, you want to make something that other people will watch. And it's a fine art. It's a very, how not to lose the authenticity and open a bit of a door for those who are not coming from your culture to understand what you are saying. And it doesn't always work. I'm a producer, so sometimes you're close to what you are making, and you don't manage. Nevertheless, you like the film and you love it. Other people do not see the merit in that film, and so it doesn't always work. But we have to try because we want our films to travel. There is always some kind of a new thing in film, and we always trust in it. 25 years ago, everybody was talking about digital. Now we are talking about platforms. But what is, but the thing is that the film is changing forever, and the way the film is going to be distributed is never going to be the same. But the problem at the moment, when you listen to the projects that we have listening today, you actually don't know how the distribution model is going to work when they are finished, like in 2 years. We don't know. We don't know what is going to happen to Netflix in 2 years. It's very difficult for us to predict. Is it going to be in Turkey? Is it going to be a platform that is going to take over, or the Turkish film will try Netflix to do a Turkish distribution? Nobody can give an answer to. On the other hand, from one point of view, it is sad because people are going away from the big screen and watching films at home. But on the other hand, the home screens have never been bigger. The sound has never been better. So, the experience is changing, and we need to learn with the, we cannot cry about, I love this. I still like to go to the cinema, but I have to admit I go so rarely that I'm even embarrassed because I don't have time, and I watch a lot of films, and I would not be able to watch a lot of films without the platforms. So on one hand, nevertheless, that there is nothing like a cinema experience. The platforms are bringing films faster to us, closer to us. When I was a kid in Yugoslavia in the 80s, 70s and 80s, it took us 2 years to see some film. And now it's made and I'm watching it. So things are changing. And the fact is that now talking as a producer, now when you make a film, not knowing to whom and how that film is going to be distributed, it's very scary, but also kind of exciting. There is one specific platform that we could mention. It's called Mubi. And the Mubi is a platform that is completely dedicated to art house films. They're only showing art house. The definition of art house is not very, it can be a little bit wider or not, but it is for the art house films. And they have a very devoted fan base, and basically they at the moment, they've managed to, run a very successful business. So it means, yes, it is possible to run a successful business, but if there is a film that is made for 7 people in my own town, but there are really these 7 people that are going to watch it, if you calculate the world population, maybe there are 7 million of people that are going to watch my film, but only if I find the right platform. And that kind of opportunity was not existent when there was no platforms. The question is, art house film was always for, it was always made for a smaller audiences, but it is also made for a longer time. Because commercial films are done and gone. You see it, it goes to the cinema, there are zillions of people watching it, and then it's gone. Nobody remembers it in 6 months. For an art house film, you can dig out something from 1962, and still love it and still relate to it. So it's made for a much longer period of time. So I don't think it's fair, this discussion of numbers when it comes to the art house cinema.